the end of the point about there being a long way to go. That was McFadden getting squeezed towards the curb and just running out of traction, running out of road and going into the gravel.
Yeah, doing a good job of keeping it going, but
on the inside line to 13th place. Contact there, and that was Kellett and Rainford, and Kellett's off the road, and Rainford goes with him into the gravel. Charles Rainford keeps his foot nailed to the ball to try to get out the other side. He's losing place after place after.
This is a better angle. Kellett is over to the right, and they're literally just braking, you know, next to each other really, and they just clip wheels.
The real beneficiary, Matty Graham, up to 4th.
Yeah.
Max Coates, Toby Trice, the race 1 winner, down in 5th. Toby, Graduate Junetta Racing Works, big contact there. That was John White launching it up the inside. And I'm afraid that he found Neil Toft in his way. They're both in the gravel. In replays, Graham Mundy at the old hairpin, so he arrives a little bit rapidly, gets sideways, goes all the way around, and points it roughly in the right direction, and rejoins the race. Heart rate returns to normal. So it's spin in the background. They easily identifiable car of Henry Dawes has gone around and around and around. And also in stride for number 71 of David Sterling, and he's got company because he got involved with Jason Lockwood.
Oh, all 3 of them involved.
Yeah, so that was Dawes spinning one way, Lockwood the other. And David Sterling had his own moment, but that's a real magic roundabout job, isn't it?
The car was really moving slowly, but it just gently pirouetted round, didn't it?
That was 1. That's 2. And then in the background, David Sterling gets
the first race as a Porsche Junior. Oh, that's got to go off.
That's De Haan.
That has got to go off. It is De Haan. Hopefully he doesn't come back on, collect anybody. Oh, just scoots across in front. Hook reverse, keep it going to a crash.
And Matty Graham, I suspect, will just have had a quick look across, thinking, OK, I know where you're going to arrive. And look, you can see he checks his speed.
Yeah.
The gap is there for him. OK, Hugo Ellis closes, but better than... As well to go round the outside, and also Gus Burton from 4th on the grid there. Late on the brakes was Kellett. That's Burton into the barriers. The 2 teammates touch at the very first corner. De Haan leads Smalley.
The lock-up just at the last minute from Kellett. He's wide, there's locked up. And bang, clatters into Gus Burton. He's got absolutely very little time to slow the car down, and straight into the tyres. Great start to Gus Burton, as you say, up alongside Adam Smalley, both round the outside. Here it is, and then just trying to squeeze in between the two as he locked up was Kellett. That is quite a big impact. All the radiators, of course, at the front on a 911 GT3 car.
Facing the wrong way is David Sterling. That's coming out of Graham Hill Bend. And he now waits for a gap in the traffic to rejoin behind Jake Giddings. Whoops, and he has another off as he tries to rejoin. A bit too much welly on slippery grass there.
Yeah, perfect description. Now, don't do it again. Not much traction either.
No, he's got a lap down now.
Oh, no,
he's got again. No, poor old David Sterling. And the drama here is if he can't get off the grass, the car's going to be in a dangerous place, and we don't want the race to be interrupted. So gently, gently, David, please. Back onto the road. He will do so. So that was Josh Stanton on the inside.
But that wasn't the cause of it. It was putting a wheel on the grass on the outside turning in that actually made the caused the spin.
There you go. Yeah. There's the rotation.
Just loses his splitter going through the gravel. That gets removed and stalls it. But well, Jackson's on the defensive here. He's already been slow out of Graham Hill, and so Max Bird seizes the opportunity. But look, he runs on a little bit wide. There's contact, and where's the contact? It's not. Look, he's already running wide there at that point. Doesn't get the apex. I fear that's yet another one for. There was the contact was, oh, well, that was a bit of a tank slapper, wasn't it? Got into a bit of a tank slapper coming off the corner and lost it, exit stage left. Let's have another look at this further back. I'm looking at Lassen. Oh, he was taking a little bit of avoiding action, wasn't he? And he got a little bit of a swerve on and just lost it. But he was actually trying to avoid the other car.
Goes the way of Max Coates with the penalty. And contact as Carl Henny gets up the inside of Stanton. Contact made off to the tyres goes Matt Carl Henny. Yet again, he tried the move around the outside of Coram. There wasn't quite enough room. He glanced off the back of Stanton's car. Here it is from another angle.
So, been trying to set this up the whole time. Just miscalculate it. That breaks, I think, the front suspension, certainly launches him up into the air. Great shape. He was trying to the last
Porsche Cup GB clash we saw at Donington, where drivers just slightly misjudged the width of the rear of the car.
Yeah, and when the wheels contact each other.
And that means that Mika Stanley did not make a great start from the outside of the front row. Diving out the inside of him is James Kellett. Charles Rainford is fifth, and there's drama there because Jake Giddings finds the tyres on the exit of Old Hall Corner. I fear that might well be a safety car.
It's a little bit of bunching, but unfortunately Giddings has had a touch in the apex and just slid out wide into the tyres. We didn't see what started it or who it was with.
David Sterling.
That's David Sterling off, but we got one more lap. We're on the last lap, and DeHaan is right on the back of the group in front.
Oh. So that was under braking, getting it wrong, bouncing off the barriers and going up the escape road down. Side by side, Callum Davis alongside Mark Warren, and through he goes into the lead, but there's contact and then tapped sideways is Davis. Toby Trice gets into the back of Warren, who's picked up damage and goes for the pits. Robert Cronin has gone past as well.
We couldn't see everything, could we? But a lunge up the inside of Steve Roberts from Joe Warhurst. They're going to come out side by side. Oh, a bit of a nudge there. See Steve Roberts unceremoniously dumped out onto. Here we have a replay, a feint to the outside, then a dive up the inside. Looks to have the move done, and
he's ahead. He's got his nose ahead.
He had, yeah.
And his home circuit, so keen for a win here, right on the back of Armstrong. Knows he's got to make the move quickly. Steve Roberts and Will Jenkins tangle. Warhurst goes up the inside. Roberts badly delayed. Jenkins badly delayed as well.
Steve Roberts on the outside, and Will Jenkins, there just wasn't room for the two of them, was there?
Armstrong with the problem, so Warhurst led, but then Trice had a massive lunge up the inside, and then there was contact because Toby Trice was charging up the inside so late on the brakes.
Yeah, he has back on board with Warren. Look, there's a sea of Porsche Caymans in front of him. He can't see a gap anywhere. That's Will Jenkins on the left through the gravel. Someone, oh, hit the tyres. Someone spinning. I think that was Cronin spinning.
That's Callum Davis that's gone around. Yeah, he was the leading am. Now this tries to piece together what happened to Davis. He went wide through the gravel, as did Jenkins, and then as Davis came back onto the road, he made contact with Ethan Hamilton.
Yeah, well, perfectly described. It all goes wrong when you go wide and through the gravel, doesn't it? And then try to, oh, coolant's gone, radiator's gone on Will Jenkins' car.
And he's putting gravel and water and coolant and everything on the road now. If the road wasn't in a mess before.
It certainly is down there.
And so Mark Warren gets a good exit from Sunny out. He's closed up towards the complex, goes for the inside line, and contact. Max Coates, who was trying everything. This in replay might give us an answer to what went on up at Tower. So there is Callum Davis with liquid coming out of the front, and he gets on his own liquid and can't stop, and kaboom.
Yeah, he already had a cooler. Oh, that's a hard, very nasty looking shunt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Testament to how strong the car is, because he's walked away from that absolutely fine. But yeah, he's went off on his own coolant.
And that tells you something about track conditions, because he came out of the chicane and he got it all wrong, and off he went. And that could bring out a safety car potentially.
Yeah, Ollie Jackson just avoiding him, but that's a dangerous place, so it will.
Now, this is Henry Dawes, Ollie Jackson coming through the chicane. Dawes goes wide, goes through the gravel, goes over the grass, loses a place, gets it all sideways, but just about safe.
But also a winner this year, keeping him very honest at the front.
And Josh Stanton gets turned around. Josh was at Cowden B stock car track last night, picking up one or two tips on how to defend. While right up against the pit wall. Now Gus Burton has a big dive up the inside. He tries to slow it down in time. Goes wide, goes over the curb, gets back on. Rainford is sideways and off the road, and around he will go. Who does he take with him? Nobody. Graham hits Burton. Matty Graham goes for the inside line. Adam Smalley now tries to get in on the act, and Gus Burton's got damage and he's off the road.
Oh, that all went wrong. I thought when I saw Gus Burton go for that move, he's going to struggle to stop the car. He really went for it, but he actually was too focused on getting down the inside. The wheel's completely broken. Look, on the right-hand side. He can't steer, can he? He's way past Charles Rainford, who was never going to make the corner cleanly, so runs out wide, comes back on, which forces Rainford off. Rainford then has to... They have to stop to let him come across the front of them, which allows Matty Graham through on the inside. They were closing up to lap David Fairbrother. Ellis goes down the inside. There's a bit of contact there. They can't avoid each other. That was just clumsy, wasn't it?
Yeah, David Fairbrother sort of slides across Hugo Ellis. I think as he applied the throttle.
Well, I think Ellis was already touching the side of David Fairbrother, so he just couldn't steer with yesterday's winner, Will Jenkins, right behind him.
So they come with contact there, out of the old hairpin. That's it, off the road into the wall goes Edward Stanton. So the pits, and he needs to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, the problem with these cars is they're not centre-lock wheels. Here's the contact. Oh, that was unfortunate. Stanton actually was trying to avoid the half-spinning car in front of him, wasn't he?
Yeah. To 14th, and how did it all happen? Graham Mundy up the inside, clatters into the side of Danny Dwyer. Both of them go off. So Graham Mundy was going off anyway. Danny Dwyer was just leans on him there, coming into the corner, tries the outside line, contact again. DeHaan's going wide, DeHaan's going off, DeHaan into the gravel, nails his foot to the boards, hauls it out the other side.
See if somebody comes into, well, you see the end of it. There's some damage in front of the right wheel, the right rear wheel there. So there's obviously been a little bit of contact.
Quick drivers in Pro-Am now. Who hit who and who hit what?
Oh, it's those tyres.
Yeah.
The tyres, it's so difficult when you're all so close to contact there.
Will Aspin battling in number 11, who was ahead and then goes wide. They both go wide, they touch, they bounce through the gravel. Jackson off, back on again. Will Aspin loses more place. This was the dive from Jackson.
Jackson up the inside, but carrying so much speed, they both end up going off. And fortunately rejoining without any further incident.
I don't think he's going to be able to gain any more ground in this race as we see more bits of debris fly and more tar stacks clobbered. Let's see how he got there first of all.
Oh,
a mighty whack.
Big whack, enough to literally send him off the road. Wow. Those, you know my views on... remember, the driver is slightly unsighted as he comes in. The car buckles. I mean, that just took the whole of the right front corner, didn't it? Even took the tyre. I think punctured the tyre, but a lot of damage. That's
turning his way onto the top of the Craner curves for the first time. But Mark Warren, relatively inexperienced as an now leads the way. Danny Dwyer is on the grass on the inside, trying to get the car back.
Every time Mark Warren is challenged, well, in the background, who's off? Is that Kyle Henney?
Edward Stanton, I was going to offer you, might be one of them, and let's see. It is, and he's got damage. As down to the Melbourne hairpin, big send up the inside there. That's Ethan Hamilton, and drama behind us. Joe Warhurst gets turned around. Toby Tries, I think, is involved. Callum Davis is involved. Race 3 at Croft was rather dramatic, and the same's happening here. It would make sense, wouldn't it? So Matt Armstrong off the road. Here's the replay then. So that's Jenkins getting it wrong. Roberts gets it wrong. Armstrong gets it very wrong.
Yeah. That was cool. Shows you how difficult it is for drivers to see anything, but they just, as soon as they touch it, they just lose that vital bit of adhesion. And I'm sorry, Matt, but you're not...
Summerfield versus Cronin, and Robert Cronin to the inside line, bravely made a move, but contact is the result. Off and around goes Summerfield, through the gravel goes Cronin, and Reece Summerfield ain't coming out of that.
Yeah, Summerfield has to turn in. Maybe he could have given a bit more room, but or maybe he didn't know quite how far Robert Cronin was alongside, but he had to turn in at some point. I'm afraid that's Robert's fault primarily. Sort of arrives in the rear three-quarter as the gap is closing.
To get a bit of warmth in the tyres, and Ollie Jackson has had a big drama already.
Well, that's not him doing a smoky burnout.
Well,
he is getting back going.
Yes.
Did he try and do a burnout and it didn't go round, but he's back going again. I don't think he's the only one to have spun on the... Oh, look at that. Ah, he lit it up when he was spinning, trying to spin the car round, and that's the result. He just chewed up his tyres. Clearly, Smalley's on slicks, and I think a lot of those other cars are on wets.
And a big lose there for Jake Giddings, who goes around coming out of Beckett's. So we put him on slicks, therefore he's back in the right direction.
No, he's on slicks, did a 59.8. The lead car did a 59.4. So virtually as quick as the wet shop cars as Stanton goes round again.
So Max Coates in the white car up into 4th place on the attack. 3rd in class. He's got the leading arm ahead of him, and they all run wide coming out of Luffield. Callum Davis went wide, Coates went wide. Replay there of Edward Stanton. He was wrong coming out of Luffield, and it just got longer, didn't it, as he went onto the grass, and that slippery grass meant he was a passenger, and the car goes around and around. So he drops to 18th and last place, but he's still in the race. And from another angle, we see Robert Cronin going through, but there is Stanton spinning into view into Woodcote Corner. Fastest lap of the race, Max Coates, the man running in third. He was, oh dear, big off there. Now, is that Toby Trice? I think it is, and that's a lot of damage on the front of the car. So Toby Trice has hit the wall very, very hard indeed. Now, Max Coates goes for the race lead.
Oh, there was a little touch, yeah, which speared him off the road at an unusual angle, and he's hit the end of that post. Oh, I've never seen a car go off at that particular point, and it just shows in motor racing, you may never have seen an accident before in all the years. Look at that, right into the edge of the wall. How unlucky is that? And it was just from the slightest touch on the straight. I think it will be the incident further behind, coming into shot. You can hear the time noise before they come into vision.
That was Rupert Laslett going around. Josh Malin drops to third place, hunting for his first victory, and Robert de Haan splits the two, and there's drama behind.
I think that's Will Martin. He's got spun out in the Toro Verde car.
Getting a lock up there because they found the liquid on the road. Rainford is one of those that has gone wide. Gus Burton was another, and there they all are skating off the racetrack.
Now that's Harry Foster or Adam Smalley. Gus Burton rejoining there, so a lot of fluid down there.
This is Harry Foster coming into the pit lane and turns in.
Ah, there's the
liquid.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Wow. Now that demolishing Toka technical equipment tends not to go down well with the clerk of the course.
And look, Kellett is in the lead there, but further back they get side by side. That's where Will Martin gets turned around.
I think he was hit by Charles Rainford, conceivably, and Will Martin getting back onto the road, but then retiring to the pit lane.
Yeah, look at the coolant coming out of there. Now that was what caused the problems on the next lap.
So he knows the strife, he peels the car off the road. This was the next lap, so Matty Graham getting involved, Harry Foster getting involved. So Matty Graham had 2 laps of going off there, didn't he? Tries to rejoin. And a lock-up from Josh Malin, he just about survived, but then others behind, including Gus Burton, less fortunate. Adam Smalley got through. He's running now in 4th place.
Yeah, look, everybody on maybe.
Here is Gus Burton up the inside of Jake Giddings, and Gus Burton just glances off the front, and that's enough to barrier damage. That could be also the reason for the safety car, but that was a really big impact for Jake Giddings. Absolutely swatted off the road.
Yeah, from a little touch there, sort of, right rear to left front, and it turned the car sharp right, broke his suspension, I think.
That was a big
nasty impact there for Jake Giddings.
It shows how little runoff there is relative to that part of the racetrack as well. So, yeah, it looks fairly innocuous, doesn't it? Just a little rub, but then, bang, off fires Jake Giddings, and kaboom, into the barriers. Well, that's a big, big hit. Here it is again.
Yeah, I mean, because the Porsches, the rear wheels stick out further than the front, you can't do side-by-side contact very easily without getting that kind of crossover between the front and the rear wheels. Felt that. Nasty shunt. We've had some nasty shunts, haven't we? That was a really strong, good pass from Steve Roberts. Now the pressure of the championship is off.
That's Cronin. Robert Cronin forced out wide. So let's see what he did wrong. Just runs out of road at Hawthorne.
Well, he got away with that. Good job the grass was nice and dry and grippy, because